Hey, hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this Azure DevOps tutorial series, today let's discuss about schedule trigger in classic pipeline. Okay, so we already discussed about introduction to pipelines in our previous video, right? We have classic pipeline, we have YAML pipeline. So here in this video, let's focus on schedule triggers for classic editor of pipeline alone. Okay, so there are many types of triggers that is present in pipeline. One is schedule trigger, as the name indicates. Schedule trigger start your pipeline based on a schedule. You can imagine a nightly build or a weekly build. Okay, so that is what we call as a schedule trigger. Another trigger is we have something called event based trigger, which will start your pipeline based on the events such as creating a pull request or pushing to a main branch and all. Okay, so for now, do not confuse. Let's focus only on schedule trigger using classic pipeline only. Okay, so for our demo purposes, I have created a couple of pipelines in my previous videos. One is a classic pipeline, another one is a YAML pipeline. So now just focus on classic pipeline alone. If I go to edit, you can see there is an option called triggers here. Okay, the third tab. So once I click on trigger, you can see an option called scheduled. Okay, so currently no builds are scheduled. If you want to add a schedule trigger, you can click on this add button. By default, you can see this is the information that has been scheduled for you for your classic editor pipeline. Okay, by default it has selected all the weekdays from Monday to Friday. 5 UTC time is being selected, and one thing to note here is it is only scheduled if the source or pipeline has changed. If your code or any source information is changed or any configuration settings in your pipelines has changed, then only then this scheduled trigger will run. Okay, so this makes sense, right? There is no meaning in running your build very frequently or daily unless if there is any change. Okay, but there are situations where you want to run even if the scheduled even if something has not changed. Okay, in those situations you can uncheck it, but this is generally used only a week. It's not mandatory to run it only once in a week, but in real time, if you ask me, if there are no changes in the source or pipeline, then you can usually run it only once a week. Okay, you can call it as a weekly build. Okay, so you can do this and you can uncheck this box. And then one another important thing to note here is against which branch do you want to run is something you have to note. Generally by default it is against main branch, so you can see you can include main branch. There is an option to exclude also. If you want to exclude any other branch also, you can click that you can check the exclude option here, so that it will not run against that specific branch. Okay, there is an option to add multiple branches too, so you can include another branch too. If you want to say run any other branch, generally you will have a release branch and all. So for now I am just selecting a sample branch here. Okay, this way you can select multiple branch in the branch filters. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. As simple as that. Now you have created a scheduled trigger for your classic pipeline. Okay, so once the schedule is done, in case if you want to preview the scheduled runs for your future, okay, what you can do is you can go to pipeline, you can go into your specific pipeline, and if you look at the scheduled runs, you can see you're scheduled the run for 10:06 10 p.m. Okay, so this is how you can preview the scheduled runs for your future. Okay, so this is another information that I want to show. This might be very useful whenever you are trying to work with pipelines, whenever you are working with scheduled triggers in pipelines. Sometimes people people can preview the scheduled runs for the future. Okay, and another thing I want to let you know is the limits that you have to run the triggers. Okay, how many times you can run a pipeline in a week. Like for example, you can only run 1,000 runs per pipeline per week. Okay, because this limit has been put in place to prevent misuse of the Azure pipeline resources, especially on a Microsoft Azure hosted agent. So that is why this limit is in place. Once again, if I have to iterate, you can only run 1,000 runs per pipeline per week. Okay, or else you can run only 10 runs per pipeline per 15 minutes. For 15 minutes, you can run only 10 runs per pipeline. Okay, this is an information that everyone should know. So that is why I just had to give you this information. Okay, so that's all what I want to cover as part of this schedule trigger for classic pipeline, guys. So in our upcoming videos, we'll see further types of triggers and how do you work with schedule triggers on YAML pipeline and all. So yeah, that's all what I want to cover as part of this video. If you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please subscribe and follow my channel. Thank you.